What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, we have a brand new patch 1.3 for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and the patch notes just dropped, and we're covering every single new change in these patch notes, and also something that is not covered in the patch notes that makes the future of Pokemon a little bit more exciting for a couple of people. And of course, guys, if you're new to the channel or enjoy my type of content, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and consider becoming a channel member today by joining the Pan Fam by hitting that join membership button below. So let's read these patch notes. So thank you for playing the Pokemon series. On Wednesday, April 19th was released the version 1.3, and you know, 1.3 sounds like a pretty big version number to me, right? So this is pretty much the highlight of the patch notes here. Support for trainers who caught an egg instead of Walking Wake or Iron Leaves in the Terra Raid battles. Trainers who caught an egg instead of Walking Wake or Iron Leaves in the Terra Raid battles before updating to version 1.2 of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were affected by a bug that prevented them from catching either of these Pokemon. Yes, some people had this bug. It was very unfortunate, and because you could only catch one per save on your account, you pretty much were screwed and you couldn't actually get the Pokemon. This bug has been fixed. The trainer who caught such eggs instead of Walking Wake and Iron Leaves will now be able to catch these Pokemon. And the beauty of this is these Pokemon are both returning on May 1st. So if you already caught the egg before, now you can catch the Walking Wake and the Iron Leaves. I don't know what's going to happen to that egg that you caught. I don't know if the patch just yeeted it. I don't know if it actually turns into a Walking Wake or an Iron Leaves and you get a second one. I really do hope that for everyone else, though, when this raid comes back on May 1st, that we can all actually go ahead and catch a second Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. Because I'm real, that's pretty lame if we can't catch a second one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Game Freak at this point, but I would love to have a second one because I would really like to have a Walking Wake with 0 IVs in its attack stat, which would be most optimal for VGC whenever it becomes illegal. Of course, you know, the ultimate dream would be, what if they release the shiny and then we can actually raid for their shiny and then get that? That would be pretty cool too. So we got some feature adjustments. A change was made to the deadline for entries for friendly competitions, which were found in the online competition section of Battle Stadium. Before this change, entries were allowed until the friendly competitions began. After the change, entries will be allowed until the friendly competition begins. Doesn't really matter. That is not a big change at all. So we got some bug fixes. And this bug fix list is interesting because I didn't know any of these were bugs, but none of these really covered bugs I knew about. So I'm happy that they fixed bugs, but I'm not happy they didn't fix the bugs I cared about. Fix the bug in link battles where selecting swap in just before the selection timer reached 0 could fail to switch into selected Pokemon and cause switching in the Pokemon itself to act abnormally. Essentially, this will like soft lock you in your battle, and sometimes people would have an additional Pokemon in the back that they could not switch out even if they had one Pokemon out already. So in doubles, if you had a Pokemon in the back, you couldn't actually bring it out, which was pretty funny. So I'm glad they fixed that because that would be awful to have in a tournament. Fix the bug in link battles where once the remaining time for the battle was under 1 minute, it would no longer be displayed where it was supposed to. I mean, that's a nice quality of life fix, but, you know, not a big one, honestly. Fix the bug that occurred in link battles where, depending on the move being used at the time a Pokemon fainted, the amount of time a trainer received to select their next Pokemon was reduced. That's a crazy bug. I'm actually glad they fixed that. I didn't realize that was one either. Now, bugs for battling. Fix the bug where the Cudchew ability would trigger again once every 2 turns after it triggered the first time, contrary to what is written in the ability description. This is a crazy bug that Farigiraf had, and I don't think anyone actually abused this. That is awesome, though. I wish I abused this. That sounds like a fun one. So technically Cudchew gets a nerf here, but it is what it is. I mean, that's just a really funny one. Another bug fix a bug that occurred when Zoroark Terra'd while using his illusion ability to disguise itself as another Pokemon. On the check status screen, the Terra is Zoroark type, but displays the original type of Pokemon that had disguised itself as, rather than Zoroark's Terra type. So honestly, Zoroark has been breaking the game since day one with the whole Terra and illusion combo. And there's another bug fix. Fix the bug that occurred when Zoroark using an illusion ability to disguise itself as another Pokemon that has already Terra'd. This bug caused Zoroark's type on the check status screen to incorrectly display as the Terra type of the Pokemon Zoroark has disguised itself as. This Pokemon is just honestly, like, illusion is a mistake of ability, and they just need to stop. Fix a bug in double battles with moves that cause stat changes for Pokemon using the moves. This bug caused the stat changes to incorrectly happen twice if the user hit 2 opposing Pokemon with the move while an opposing Pokemon was behind a substitute. That's a weird bug. I'm glad they fixed it. So it seems like they fixed Pokemon Go connectivity. So essentially less crashes, which is good. So that's good for all the Pavilion people. And some other fixes. Fix a bug affecting trainers who receive Hisuian Zoroark from Mystery Gift Screen as a special early purchase bonus for their hidden treasures of Area 0 for Pokemon Scarlet or Pokemon Violet without first having seen Zoroark in their game. This bug caused Zoroark to be incorrectly displayed as registered to these trainers' Pokedexes. So essentially nothing. Essentially, the only real bug that mattered here was the freaking Walking Wake in Iron Leaves. And I'm a little bit disappointed. Because, well, we knew this was going to be part of the patch for sure, but I would think they would do a little bit more. And I was personally really hoping for some quality of life fixes. I was hoping for one, better saveability in general. Like, the lake is pretty laggy. Lag tree is still pretty laggy. I wanted them, like, to fix the frame rate a bit, you know, less, like, I still get freezes in my game. I, like, freeze for, like, 5 seconds, and they'll come back as normal. I still get crashes sometimes. Sometimes when I do trades, I get crashes. There's a lot of different things I wish they fixed on this. But for some things I hope to see in the future, I hope to get more boxes. I hope to get a mass release option. That'll be really nice. And I really just hope that they do something about shiny hunting of outbreaks, because outbreaks, one, are just spawning in very annoying parts of the map still. But also, I hope we get something that like makes it so certain forms will appear in different outbreaks instead of having the same form every time. And now for the interesting part. So Matt here is a Pokemon data miner, and he is phenomenal at his job. And he says, in Scarlet and Violet version 1.3, Game Freak has deleted even more Pokedex entries. For reference, Matt has covered 1.2, and the same thing happened. A bunch of Pokedex entries were removed, and supposedly these are going to be the Pokemon that come to the DLC, is similar to what happened in Sword and Shield. And also some of the Pokemon that were removed were shown in the DLC trailer as well. So this is a good hint that these Pokemon are coming to the DLC, or maybe before in a special patch. But the big exciting thing here is the Unova starters. The Unova starters were not in the DLC code at all, but now they're showing up here in the removed Dex entries. So Superior and Emboar fans now have a chance, which is massive. It also mentions the Kalos starters, Galar starters, and Carbink too, which Carbink was actually not mentioned at all before. So that makes sense. Carbink and Deancey have a weird relationship together too. So I can see that being the reason why, because Deancey is supposed to come in as well. Now, Matt says here, when Sword and Shield deleted Pokedex entries in 1.2, all of those Pokemon ended up returning in the DLC. This list is still tentative, as I mentioned in the past. It should be noted that my list includes species that are already in SV, but do not appear in any Pokedexes. And his personal thoughts on it is, when we got to look at Sword and Shield 1.2.0, there were Pokemon that had Pokedex entries deleted, but still did not end up in any Galar Pokedexes, Mainland Armor, or Crown Tundra. Like all of Dynamax Adventures Legendaries, I expect some similarities with Teal Mass and Indigo Disc. So it's not 100% chance they're going to come, but if we look at what the history says in the data mine, there's a good chance that all the Pokemon on this list are going to be showing up in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. Now, looking at the pace spin here, there's a lot of Pokemon. So we already knew some of these from before. Like, we knew the Gen 1 starters were going to come in a bunch of these Gen 1 Pokemon. We already saw Ninetales from the DLC. But this is a really good idea of the Pokemon that we are going to be getting in the future of the game. If you haven't seen this list already, this is really exciting stuff. I mean, things that get me hype, something like Porygon is super exciting for me. Seeing Fraligator is pretty dope as well. Haven't seen Fraligator in a minute. Very excited for Politoed, which we did see in the DLC as well. Very excited for a Kingdra. That's a really cool Pokemon. And I think Gen 5 has probably most of the exciting stuff here. There's a couple of Gen 5 Pokemon we have not seen come to a Switch game yet, which, as we said, the starters are going to be pretty massive for Gen 5. Incredibly excited for Mienshao and Chandelure to make a show up here. That's going to be pretty phenomenal. But yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon coming to this DLC, so this is going to give us a good idea for the next 3 years of the Pokemon competitive scene. And then we do have Iron Leaves and Walking Wake here at the very end as well, because we have not actually seen their Dex entries yet. Whatever you have it, guys, that is all of the brand new information for patch 1.3 in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let me know in the comment section below what Pokemon you are most excited for that is coming back from this list here, because there's a lot of cool Pokemon coming back for sure. There's currently 253 that are slated to come back in the DLCs. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. Have a good one.